Hello, today's question from an IT leader is that we're always picking up the slack from the service desk! Exclamation mark.
Okay.
So what do you think they mean by that?
So a little bit of context in this case. This is a resolver group, a third line team or an escalation team, if you like, who are frustrated with their relationship with the service desk.
Okay.
So I haven't got all the details in this case. So if we talk about a general situation, and then hopefully that's of help. If it's not, then we're very happy to talk to you privately, or indeed do this again. So if we imagine a normal flow of work coming through service desk into a resolver group, keep it really simple. And the implication here is that the service desk themselves are doing something. They're not doing the job well enough, they're not doing the job fast enough, aren't passing enough information across, or
completing the tickets wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Whichever way you look at it, they're hindering the progress of the other team. So if that's the case, where would you start? What would you do if you were the leader of the resolver group?
Have a conversation. No,
Have a conversation. Yeah.
In all seriousness, I think it's interesting with service desks. You know, that quite often they're perceived a bit like the call centre mentality. You know, they're sort of stuck in a corner, they're isolated. I think the integration of those teams is really important, and that almost like that flow from customer right through the organisation and what part each of those teams play. So maybe it's a simple thing first of all, because it could be quite complicated. But a simple thing is what is the issue? You know, what's causing the pain in that team that think they're picking up the slack, because it could be that. Maybe there's an education thing on how to use the systems, maybe it's the language being used, maybe it's not being consistent across the teams. It could be that they don't have the right model in the service desk in terms of who's dealing with which customer.
Yeah.
So I think look at it as a leader of that team or the entire function is to look at it and to understand what those pain points are and bring those teams together.
Yeah, I would agree very much. There's the kind of common causes of this issue, or at least a perceived issue of one team picking up the slack from another. One very common is targets. And in this, I'm not assuming that that's the case here, but I've certainly seen a service desk, say, targeted for customer satisfaction, perhaps, of course, but speed of answer and kind of churn in that regard.
10 seconds or something.
Those sort of things, where an infrastructure team that might be the resolver group is actually worried about the platform itself and the availability in the system, so are then being almost interrupted by the work coming through. So if you've got that, you've already got a misalignment, which is going to slow things down. So as Juliet said, exactly, think systems level here. What's actually trying to be done, and is the flow of work at the moment supporting, aiding, amplifying that, or is it causing it to fall over itself? There often also as well is a misunderstanding about those targets and about the pressures of each team. So a bit of cross skilling, or go and spend some time with those other teams, encourage each of the teams to sit in the chair, will also help them to be part of the solution. Right back to 𝐒𝐞𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐿 here, if you want to be understood, seek first to understand, and that really definitely plays out here. If you have got a good flow through, and the issue is perhaps that the teams aren't asking the right questions or otherwise, then do have a think about some frameworks that you might be able to use. Just a word of caution, as work is progressing through the teams, I doubt that the problems are always going to be the same. So very prescriptive scripts that say, when a ticket goes to the networking team, always ask this, and this, probably aren't relevant all the time, or indeed are going to miss cases sometimes. So there are frameworks out there, and those that know me know I work well, or I've worked for a long time at 𝐸𝐞𝐫𝐞. They're more open frameworks that invite intelligent questions that provide relevant information to be crossed or passed across the borders between functions and teams, and that's much better than something prescriptive. I can talk all day about that. I'm very pleased to do that on another video along the way. But think common or think systems, first of all. What's the flow of work? What's impeding it from being done along the way? Follow the tickets. Then you can begin to deal with some of the attitudes that might exist between the teams as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can end up, and I've seen it happen quite a lot, where you end up in this blame thing. Oh, X over there in the service desk isn't doing what we need, and over here we've got all these priorities, and it just becomes a bit of a kerfuffled mess, really.
Yeah, and
So,
there's some customer somewhere couldn't care less.
Yeah.
And just wants to get their situation resolved, or want to be able to get back to their day. So help that person by understanding what the real outcomes here are and mapping that kind of systems level flow. That will really help to see what's going on.
Brilliant. Well, we hope that helps. Please do let us know if you have any tips or have any comments about what we talked about. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss, please feel free to get in touch. We look forward to hearing from you.